Welcome, everyone, to the Modern Day Overthinker podcast. My name is Colin, and I am your host. This week's episode is with Carson Tuttle. He is a comedian in Iowa City. He is also a middle school teacher. We were able to discuss a variety of topics, such as comedy, because we know each other because of stand-up comedy, regret, failure, importance of time with friends, and having friends that you can be your authentic self around, as well as just living in the moment. And we also talked about the struggles of being a teacher and also the struggles of 7th and 8th graders that Carson teaches and what he has to deal with and how he deals with that in the environment today with all the technology and cell phones and things like that. So had a great conversation with Carson. He's a great guy, and I look forward to hanging out with him more in the future, and I look forward to hearing what you think of this podcast. So thank you for tuning in again. Until next time, thank you for listening to the Modern Day Overthinker podcast. We also had a guest appearance from George Michael, who is Carson's Shih Tzu. So if you hear some barking, that is why. Here is the latest episode with Carson Tuttle. Welcome, everyone, to the Modern Day Overthinker podcast. My name is Colin, and I'm your host. Today's guest is Carson Tuttle. We're actually live from his home. Well, it won't be live when you see this, but we're live at his home right now, which is great. I got to try the in-home setup. It actually worked. I didn't forget any cables, which is good.
That's good deal.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here, man. You had an interesting week.
Yeah, it was a crazy
wild
week, dude.
week. Yeah,
man.
So let's talk about you for a second. Introduce yourself. Give us like kind of the highlights of the things that you do, and we know each other through comedy, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Well, yeah, my name is Carson Tuttle. I am a stand-up comedian here in Iowa City. I've been doing stand-up for about 7 years now. I also host a monthly showcase here in Iowa City. That's called the Red Room Comedy Showcase. Been doing that for a year. And I'm also a middle school teacher full-time. And so I teach middle school, and I do comedy as my passion and kind of do both of those things simultaneously, which is insane. But I've been doing that for 7 years. I've been a junior high teacher for 9 years. And I've known Colin for probably about 6 months now, probably, that we've actually known each other.
Yeah.
We've probably met each other for the first time about a year ago, but become buddies these past 6 months. And yeah, man, I'm excited to have you in the basement.
Yeah,
sitting
dude,
on the
in
yellow
lair.
couch for
I'm
once.
in the lair.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
this couch is awesome.
yeah, it is awesome.
How old is this thing?
Dude, it's really old. It's my
OG.
wife's grandparents' couch. She said it was the couch that was in their lake house growing up. And so when they moved to a new house and got rid of a bunch of stuff, this was like the one piece of furniture that she demanded. And it's also, you can probably tell by sitting on it, it's also a sleeper sofa.
Okay.
And
This
we put like a new memory
1,000
foam
pounds.
mattress in there. It's the heaviest shit you have ever carried.
This is staying in the house.
Yeah. And it used to be, we were on a 3rd floor apartment.
Oh, man.
And we had to move that up 2 flights of stairs to the 3rd floor of that apartment. And when we moved here, we had to move it back down those flights of stairs. And then when we put it in our basement here at our house, we moved in this house about 2 years ago. I said, I'm never moving that couch again. Yeah. When we move, the couch stays here.
And just a sleeper in general is already like, it feels like it weighs 1,000 pounds.
It's brutal. Yeah. And no one really wants to sleep on it. Oh, really? No. I mean, we've had a lot of people crash on that couch, though, over the years. But we have a guest room now that has an actual bed in it. So feel free to come over and sleep on the yellow couch anytime you want, by the way.
It's open. There's not a whole lot of... It's vacant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It's available. So yeah, man, I've been doing comedy in Iowa City for like 5 years now. I moved to Iowa City 5 years ago. When I started doing stand up, I was in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is my hometown,
Okay.
and did that there from like fall of 2015 through summer of 2018. So like 2.5 years, I did comedy in Nebraska. But that was when I was first starting out. I was like just doing open mics, barely doing any shows. Started doing more shows like my last 6 months I was there. And then I moved here to Iowa City about 5 years ago. And that's how long I've been doing stand up here in this area.
So what got you into it in the first place? Did somebody encourage you, or were you just like, I always want to do this, or a little bit of both?
I mean, it's kind of a weird story. So I actually had a friend of mine named Patrick Clark, shout out to Patrick, who started doing stand up before me, and he was an old college buddy. And after college, we were both living in Lincoln, and he started doing stand up just at like open mics and stuff. So when I first went and watched him do an open mic, I went a couple of times to watch him, and he came up to me after a mic, and he was the first person. He was like, so when are you going to start doing this? Because he kind of knew.
That's my schlichting right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Schlichting did to me. Exactly.
That's right. And because he had kind of fallen in love with it, and I was really like, I don't know. But the thing about me is like, you know, you probably can tell this from me just being a junior high teacher, but I've always just been really comfortable just like talking in front of people.
Yeah.
Like it's never really bothered me. I just, and I also, you know, just have this like creative side that since I had graduated from college a few years before this, I kind of had to push that to the side and just like become a teacher and just like really focus on teaching all that. And so when I started doing stand up again, it was something that was really cool because
you had a gap.
Yeah. I had like graduated from college, and when I was in high school and college, I did all kinds of like artistic, creative stuff. You know, I did some theater in high school.
Okay.
I loved speech and debate when I was in high school.
Oh, nice.
But I even quit that after 2 years, which was so like I think back on that now. I quit speech and debate to focus more on.
I would be such a better comic now,
dude. I would. And the other thing too that like really pisses me off about it is I quit to focus more on playing football because I was a football player in high school, and my junior and senior year. So from the moment I quit doing speech and debate, my junior and senior year, I played on the varsity football team. I got to start, which is kind of what I wanted to do, but our team was terrible.
Ooh.
Both my junior and senior year. We set the school record for worst record in school history. We tied the school record. We were 1-8. We won one game. We lost 8 games. Worst record in school history. And then the following year, my senior year, we tied that record by going 1-8 again. So 2 years in a row, we had the worst record in school history.
What position did you play?
I was an offensive lineman. I played right tackle. Okay. And then my senior year, I had to play a little bit of D-line because we had so many guys getting hurt because we were awful. We were so bad. We were of weak constitution. But I like quit a bunch of stuff to like focus on football. And the reason why I'm mad about quitting the speech and debate thing was I think if I kept doing that all the way to my senior year, I think I would have, because my event that I did was entertainment, which is basically stand up. That's what like the entertainment event is at speech and debate, is like you're doing like a funny 5-minute speech.
Oh, really?
That's what it is. Yeah. And my sophomore year, yeah, you do a set. My sophomore year, I had this whole speech that I wrote that was like,
it was memorize the whole thing.
Yeah. Okay. And it was very, I was really into Demetri Martin at the time. Okay. And so that speech was very Demetri Martin-esque, where I had like a bunch of like charts and graphs and stuff. And, but you know, it wasn't great, but it was like, I look back on that now and was like, oh, that was the first 5-minute set that I wrote, was like doing that for speech and debate. And my whole thing was like, if I just kept doing that all the way until college, I think I would have started stand-up a lot earlier, because I didn't start doing stand-up until I was 24 years old. And if I had done that, I think I would have realized like, oh, I really love this. And I might have, you know, started doing like open mics right out of high school as opposed to like after college, you know. But, you can't hindsight's 2020. You can't
Dude,
live in regret all the time.
I was 31 when I started.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and I know tons of people. And I know tons of people.
There's some people that started when they were like 40
who are great comics too. And it's
Heather Land started late.
Yes, exactly. Like watching Heather last night too. She inspired the hell out of me watching that last night because I was I was thinking about that of just like her starting, like she was a worship minister. Mm-hmm. She was married for 15 years, got a divorce, and it was like after all of that, that's when she's decided to start doing comedy. And she started doing comedy basically because she started making like these stupid Instagram and Snapchat videos with her friends. And it was like her
she
friends
uses that filter a lot.
Yes, yeah. And
that's her thing.
That was the thing that got her into comedy.
It's that filter, the face.
And she's like 3 million followers on Instagram, which is crazy. It's
Instagram, she's Facebook. She has
Facebook. Yeah. Facebook. She's got like Reels. 3 million followers on Facebook. What inspired the hell out of me last night was like anytime anyone can do an hour and she did an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay, I thought it was longer than that.
Yeah.
She just was the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, it was
just kept going.
And I was just like backstage. I was literally watching and listening backstage.
There was no pauses.
The entire
there was no
nope. She just murdered for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was like watching that and being like, man, I was really worried about like my 15 minutes. And she did an hour and 15. It was just total pro.
No cheat sheet, nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. I felt naked last night going on stage without my notebook.
Yeah, you had nothing.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't. If I'm doing the English, I was like, I don't want to bring my notebook.
Yeah.
But I'm always like, my thing always is like, I bring my notebook, I put it on the stool.
It's almost like a crutch, though. I am trying to get away from it, but it's so hard.
Yeah, I don't. I used to worry about it more. It used to be like a thing for me.
So many people do it.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Is like, okay, the time I got over that is Mark Maron is one of my favorite comics. He was a huge inspiration for me when I first started doing comedy. Mm-hmm. Like me first starting to do comedy, his special Thinky Pain on Netflix came out like around that same time. And I remember watching that special and being like, that's the kind of comic that I want to be. He does this whole like stream of consciousness thing. And he's just like, he's up there and he's going from like
his voice is great.
One riff to another, to another, to another. But the thing that I loved about that special is he brought the notebook on the stage and he had no problem like having the notebook on the stage with him and like just flipping through stuff. Cause that's just like the comic that he is, right? Some people like can do that and it can work. So when I like started thinking about that more and more, and I used to be really self-conscious about it, I don't mind bringing my notebook on stage that much. Cause it's like, well, it's not for you.
Have you met Nathan Kuhn before?
No, I haven't.
Oh, Nathan Kuhn's great.
Does he hate notebooks on stage?
No. He's actually he usually has his phone.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't always do it for like shows, but like at open mics he's done it. He's like has his phone. He's like reading off his phone. He's like, yeah, I'm reading on my phone, but you know who wrote these jokes? Me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. I will say though, I'm a huge hypocrite because I don't like the phone.
Yeah, the phone's different.
I like the notebook.
Yeah.
I don't like the phone.
Yeah.
My friend Jameson.
I've been getting more into the notebook and away from the phone.
Yeah. I also think there's a mental thing of like, because I don't write down unless like I think of something that I have
I'm
to.
A bullet point guy.
Yep. I write a set list. And when I think of like a new thing, maybe I'll like write it down, but I usually don't have everything fully scripted, like written down in a notebook. My notebook's just like where I write down like this bit, this bit, this bit, this bit, and I write it in order. And my friend Jameson Cox, I really like what he does because it's like so subtle and it's not a distraction at all, is he just takes like a piece of paper the size of a Post-it, like really small.
Oh yeah.
And he puts it in his pocket. And when he gets on stage, he takes it out of his pocket, puts it on the stool, and it's like tiny. Like the audience can barely see it, but it's there if he needs it.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good way of doing it too.
Yeah.
But
or the small little notebook.
It's so funny. Notebooks. I tell myself I'm really comfortable with being on stage with my notebook, but then last night I was like, nah, I don't think I should do that. I wanted to be pro. I wanted to go pro in that moment, but. Any other time, I'm like, whatever. It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
and also the other thing too is like I said, it was all of my favorite bits, that I did last night, and I was like, early in the day, I was like, I know this set. You know, I don't need to have bullet points along the way. I know this set.
Yeah. I get it. So going back to the high school years, what were your high school years like? Were they? You said you went to school in Lincoln?
Yeah, in Nebraska.
Okay. Do you have a big school or a smaller school?
It was a really big school.
Real big school?
It was like 2,000 students for a high
shoot.
school. Yeah, my high school graduating class was over 400 people.
Yeah, see, mine was 100.
Yes. Yeah.
So big difference. Well, I went to private school, though.
Where'd you go to high school?
Assumption and Davenport.
In Davenport.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, that's where Chris Schlichting went to school.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep. I see the football jersey.
I'd never go to B-Dubs, and I was like, I got to take a picture with the jersey. He'll love that.
So, okay, tell me the story. So, his high school football jerseys in the Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah, I don't know how it ended up. I mean, he's not the only one who's ever wore 56, but it's just like he just started like he
claimed it.
Yeah, he claimed it.
Yeah, he said, "I'm in the Buffalo Wild Wings Football Hall of Fame."
It's great.
Okay. That is great.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, but I went to high school in Lincoln, Nebraska. I went to Lincoln Southeast High School, which is we have some famous graduates of Lincoln Southeast High School, by the way. James Valentine, who's the guitar player for Maroon 5, went to Lincoln Southeast High School. Alex Gordon, who was a World Series champion and Major League Baseball All-Star, played for the Kansas City Royals for a long time. He graduated from my high school. And also 80s guitar pop star Matthew Sweet went to my high school.
I don't know that guy.
Before my time, obviously.
Okay, yeah.
But I went to Lincoln Southeast. It's funny, I did the football thing, but I was a big music kid when I was in high school. And so I was really into choir.
Okay.
I did concert choir and I did swing choir, which is, it's kind of like show choir, but it's very like Broadway, like it's a little more like Broadway jazz type of stuff. So it was fun. I loved it. Got to sing and dance.
So you hung out with the jocks and the theater kids,
dude. Yeah, I did. I was kind of a weirdo. I ended up being much more of like a theater and choir kid, though. I wish I would have done more theater too. That was the other thing. Is like all the time I wanted to do shows. I would like want to audition, and then I'd be like, no, I shouldn't because I should be in the weight room, or I should be like doing conditioning and stuff like that. And it's just like I think back on that stuff and like our
football team's terrible.
Yeah, and exactly. And then our football team ended up being really bad, and I felt like a jerk. But again, football also gave me like a lot of things that is really useful now. Discipline, hard work. Like I
could not do football. I tried it for like a couple weeks. I was a small kid though. I just got like thrown around.
In my first couple of years doing football, in like junior high and my freshman year of high school, I wasn't that good. I was really out of shape. I was a chubby kid. I was the kid who would always have like an asthma attack when we ran sprints at the end of practice and stuff. But I like really worked my butt off. I like worked really hard. And like I was one of those guys where I didn't have a lot of natural skill and ability, but I got on the field because I just outworked everybody. I would like, even before 2-a-day started, I would like go down to the park that was near my house and I would just like run sprints and do drills and get in the best shape, because the first day of practice I wanted to be the guy that could run longer and faster than everyone else at the end of practice. Because I remember being a junior high kid, I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed that I couldn't finish conditioning. Like it really upset me, and so I was like so I showed up like my sophomore year,
because once you get to high school you're like, I could be a new guy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. And I remember my sophomore year showing up to 2-a-days, and I was like in really good shape. I had like dropped probably 25 pounds, and just being able to like run my butt off at the end of class and not end of practice, and not get tired. And that's when I started being able to like play more. And so it taught me that stuff. Like it taught me how to like work hard, and also like how to, I think the good thing football taught me, if I can take anything away from those horrible 1-8 seasons where we were literally the worst team that's ever existed in our school was like, it did teach me how to deal with failure.
Oh yeah.
And it did teach me how to, I remember really vividly my junior year. I was starting on varsity my junior year, and then they posted the rosters for the following week and who was going to be playing in the varsity games and who was going to be playing in the JV games. And I was a junior, so I could still play in JV games.
Yeah.
But I was starting on varsity. But they posted the rosters for that week, and that week they put me down on JV for a week. And I was really upset. I was like really upset. I was really mad about that.
Beat yourself up over it.
I was beating myself up over it because, you know, I was starting on varsity, but I was struggling. Obviously, the team was struggling. We were having a hard time. Yeah. And I realized later that the reason why they did that is they wanted me to get some confidence. They wanted me to like win a game. You know what I mean? And they moved a lot of guys down.
JV would win.
Yeah, exactly. Is like our JV team was like winning more games. Our varsity team couldn't win.
That was when I was on B All Stars in baseball.
Yeah, totally. And it was like, and that's why they were doing it. But I remember that JV game, we were just killing this team because we swung down half of our varsity team for this week just so that we could get a win, just so that we could get some confidence. But I had such a bad attitude that whole game. I was being a total dick. I was like,
you're like, I should be playing varsity.
Well, yeah. And I was like, I was getting like mad at my teammates when they were making mistakes. I was literally these poor kids, I was like driving them off the ball and like shoving them to the ground every single play just to like prove a point to my coaches. And I remember a coach who I really respect. I ended up having, especially my senior year, I had a great relationship with this coach, but he came up to me on the sidelines when he saw what a dick I was being. And he said like, this is why we can't win games right now. And that really stuck with me. Is like, he said, this is why we can't win games right now, because you care more about yourself than you care about the team. You are mad because of how we treated you, and you should be worried about trying to play with your team and win this game. And that really stuck with me because he was totally right. It was like me experiencing some sort of like personal like failure or like bad feelings or ego, like did not justify me treating other people badly, you know? And also like, I wasn't entitled. The other thing too, that I remember coming out of that thinking was like, I'm not entitled to anything, you know? It's like, I get everything that I earn, you reap what you sow type of thing. And it's like, you know, if you don't like the situation that you're in, like you need to change something like in yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. And how you're approaching it, you know, and shitty attitude and big ego and bad feelings doesn't solve anything. No. It just makes everything worse. It just makes you bitter, upset, all of that stuff. You're kind of like my therapist right now. I haven't talked about the JV game.
This happens.
I haven't talked.
So, you know.
Dude, I'll never forget. JV game against Lincoln Northeast when I was 16 years old. Yeah, this was a long time ago.
A couple years ago. We're about the same age. How old are you?
I think we are the same age. Yeah.
I just turned 33. So.
You just turned 33? I'm 1 year younger than you.
Okay, so you graduated high school 09?
09, yeah. I'm about to turn 32. I turned 32 actually 2 weeks from today is my 32nd birthday. I know, it's coming up. May birthdays are the best.
Are they?
They are. When's your birthday?
March. It's
Dude,
not too bad.
May birthdays beat the shit out of March birthdays. They're so much better.
The weather. Yeah.
The weather's awesome. Yeah. It's awesome. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it always rains almost always rains on my birthday.
What day of the month is your birthday in March?
23rd.
23rd March. Yeah. That's like shitty weather season.
Oh yeah,
it's really bad.
It's never good.
I think I just learned a lot about.
It's been spring break though, like when I was in school. Which is
nice.
Yeah,
that's nice. I think I just learned about what makes Colin, and I think a lot of it has to do with a birthday on March 23rd.
Somebody was talking about like zodiac signs earlier, and they're like, I'm an Aries. I'm like, I don't even know if that makes sense. And then They're like, yeah, it does. I'm like, I don't understand the zodiac signs really at all. I look it up every once in a while for kicks,
Yeah.
just to see, how
Yeah.
aligned it is. But
I go in and out of that. There's certain things. I'm a Taurus, and there's certain things about my personality that I guess align with what they say it is. But also, I have a buddy of mine who taught me this, and he feels this way too. And I've started to feel this way because he got really upset about like personality tests, like an Enneagram test or like any of
I've
that
done
stuff.
some of those,
Yeah, and he said like, don't reduce my humanity to like one thing. Like
4 letters.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm more complicated. I'm
Yeah.
more complicated than that.
Yeah.
Than a Myers-Briggs
Don't
profile.
put me in this box.
Don't put me in a box. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
feel that way too.
Yeah.
Because there's even with those personality tests, like on a personality test, like I'm a textbook extrovert is what they will tell me, like that you're really extroverted, like you're really social, but there's also like a huge part of my personality where I need days where I'm just like in my house alone
Yeah.
all day.
Oh, yeah.
Like sitting on the couch, like listening to music, watching Netflix, like a crash day.
Yeah.
And it's like
I get
I
that.
need that. And I did all those shows this past week. And so this morning from like I didn't even sleep in that late. I got up at like 7:30, and from like 7:30 until noon it was just like pajama pants and Cheez-It crackers and sitting on the couch, watching Next Level Chef with Gordon Ramsay. I need those days,
Yeah.
like all the time.
I get it. Some people don't understand that too.
Yeah.
And they feel offended, like if you don't want to do anything.
Yeah,
Have you
totally.
gotten into that? Like,
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
just like, I just need a day. Or like, there's times where people like will be calling me. I'm like, I don't have time for I don't have the mental capacity
Yeah, I can't do this right now.
to talk on the phone.
Yeah.
Like yeah, I'll text you, let you know I'm alive and whatever.
Yeah.
But there's some days where I got to answer the phone. That's what because I'm in recovery, so I sponsor people,
Yeah.
so I have to answer the phone.
Yeah, totally.
Or call them back because it could be I don't know what's going on. It could be something serious. Could be something not serious. Could be somebody just want to talk.
Yeah,
But
you
that's
need
what
to
I
be
s-
available.
That's what I signed up for.
Yeah, totally.
So.
Yeah, being available for people is hard. Even your closest friends.
Yeah.
It's like
No,
it
I
blows
love
my
these guys
mind.
to death.
Yeah,
I'm
how
just-
often a friend tries to reach out, or I try to reach out to them, and like it takes so long, and we just can't like connect. It's really hard. Like that whole thing of like not being selfish with your time and stuff, but also at the same time, like I was saying earlier, it's like you also need to take care of yourself,
Yes.
and you need like there is a balance there. And I think my personality, I'm married. I've been married for almost 4 years, and it's like I love my wife, and we have a great relationship. But
you
sometimes,
have to have some time.
yeah, exactly. And I think sometimes, and she gets that
That's
way better than I do.
That's good.
And sometimes I like just drive her crazy with like the whole thing of like, dude, like you don't have to keep going out all the time. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have to go to every mic. You don't have to like meet this friend at this place. Like
You feel like you're gonna miss out on something.
yeah, totally. And it's
Yeah.
just like, you and she understands more than anything, like you need to take better care of yourself. And I'm really glad that like I've gotten a lot better at that just in the past few years that we've been married, because that was something that I never like even thought about before, of just like you're burning the candle at both ends, like you're starting to
She
get
checks
frayed.
you.
Yeah, absolutely.
good.
It's like the way you are going and like having to, and the way she also checks me on this whole thing is like, why do you feel like you have to be on and perform like all the time? Like you can't always be.
balance.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and I think that's something we struggle with because we're like on stage a lot, and we're like getting up in front of people a lot, is the whole thing of like you can't always be in performance mode like all of the time. Like sometimes you have to be yourself, sometimes you have to be alone, sometimes. And also the other thing too is we surround ourselves with so many other comics who are also like performing and putting on a show all the time too.
Personalities.
Yes, a lot of personalities. And it's also good to identify, like, you also need those friends in your life that you can just be yourself with and just like be real with, and you don't have to put on the show with them.
No.
You can just like, you know, do whatever. Like, I have some good friends in my life where, you know, I just love to just go and play golf with them and just like hang out with my buddies. Man, you seem like a good guy to go play play around with.
I love golfing, dude.
You've always been a good hang, by the way.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I like hanging with Colin.
I'm just a guy that likes to talk and hang out, man. I've done the whole partying thing, as everybody knows, and I just like to hang out, and I like meeting new people. Like, that was like the biggest thing with the festival this week was like, I wish I would have came up sooner, but at the same time, I just didn't have the time. And, you know, when I golfed yesterday, it was with my dad and my uncle, and family time's gotten very, very important to me over the last few years, because there's a lot of years where I didn't focus on that very well.
That's good. You still have a good relationship with your folks?
Yeah.
That's good.
I always have had a pretty good relationship with them, but it was kind of iffy, one-sided for a while, and I moved a little bit. I moved to Chicago for a little while. Right after college, I slept on my brother's couch for longer than I was supposed to, for like a month or two, to try to find a job. And then I finally found a job. Then I got
That was right after college?
Right after college.
Dude, there's no shame in that. I lived with my parents for 5 months right after college.
Dude, I did the moving back in with my parents thing like twice.
Yeah, I did too.
Ugh.
Same thing.
Yeah, not fun.
Yeah.
Now I say
it's also your 20s.
Yeah.
It happens.
I was like, I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't care what happens. I will live under a bridge before I do that again, for my parents' sake and my sake. It's a mutual agreement.
I would rather live under a bridge than live with my parents again.
Yeah.
I don't know if I feel that strongly about it, but
it's a little exaggerated. But
I will say the second time I moved in with my parents, it was so I could save money to move out here, because I knew I was going to move to Iowa City. I was dating my wife at the time.
And she was already here?
She was already here.
Okay,
she was a student.
That's what brought you here.
Right. She was a student at the university.
Okay.
We'd been dating for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that, like, okay, this is the person that I want to be with for the rest of my life. So I moved out of a house I was splitting rent on with a friend of mine, and I moved back in with my parents. That time I lived with my parents was actually much better than the first time I was living with my parents, because it was like,
it's a different.
I knew what the goal was,
yeah,
you know, and I knew
an end point.
Yes, exactly. I knew I was like, I'm doing this because I'm on a mission, man. I'm in love with this girl. I got to get to Iowa City. Yeah. First time you live with your parents right out of college, that was not good.
You're just like,
it was a mess too, and it was also like, it's tough coming back to your folks' place right after college.
After being on your own.
Yeah, because, and also, like, people are really different when they graduate from high school compared to when they come back from college.
Oh, yeah.
You're a totally different person. You are an adult now, you know, and you probably have a ton of different ideas, values, also habits, like, change a lot when you're in college too. And I remember when I came back from college, that first time I lived with my parents, I would drive my folks crazy, because they also were not used to having an adult man in their house that wasn't a child. Yeah, I got my sister. I got an older sister too.
Did she ever live at home?
Yeah, she did. She did live at home after college. Kind of same as me though. Didn't last very long.
Okay.
She only lived at home with my folks for like maybe 5 or 6 months. Hey, buddy, you need to relax, dude.
He wants attention.
He does. He just wants attention. Come here. Come here. I know. It's okay. You're going to have to chill out, though, okay? We're recording a podcast. This is going to go out to dozens of people.
Yeah, maybe even 2 dozen.
If we're lucky. Anyway, man, yeah. But you know, I've loved being in Iowa City though. Like, this was the place that, you know, this is the first place I've lived for a long time on my own without my family. I'm from Lincoln, Nebraska, and this is kind of the place where I had to grow up and like figure it out on my own and all that stuff. And I've loved it. It's been great. It was like tough when we first came out here and just like starting over, and just like having none of the friendships and relationships that I had built over like 25 years in my hometown, and just like starting out somewhere like completely new. Oh. There you go.
Okay.
Nice job. Keep him occupied. But yeah, and then like not only like starting those relationships over, but also like starting to do stand up in like a completely different place too. Oh yeah. Whereas like nobody knew who I was, no one gave a crap, like going from I had like just started when I left Nebraska, I just started being booked on like legit shows and at clubs and stuff like that. And then like going back to be like, okay, I'm now at a mic again, starting from square one, and no one knows who I am, and I have to start over. But I look at that time and is like, as a comedian, that was really good for me to have to do that, because it forced me to write again. It forced me to come up with new ideas again. And it also forced me to like have to get out of my comfort zone. Yeah. And, I think people a lot of times when they've been doing the open mic thing and the comedy thing for a while, they get like 2-3 years in, they start getting frustrated because they're like, why can't I do more shows? Why isn't this thing being given to me? Yeah. Why isn't that thing being given to me? This person's doing this thing. Yeah. Tons of people have that mindset, right? Of like, why am I not getting booked? Why am I not doing this thing? I'm really thankful for my experience moving here to Iowa City for the first time, because that kicked that out of me immediately, because people, I think, don't realize when they've been doing in the same place their entire time doing comedy, or they've, never had to start over like in a completely new place. They don't realize like, hey, nothing's going to be just handed to you. Like, you really gotta just care about like your time on stage and what you're going to do while you're on stage. You gotta earn it. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I know that a lot of people don't like to hear that, because in their mind they're thinking like, I have earned it, right? Like that's the way that they see things. But my mindset always has been, since I've moved here, of like, you should be focusing on being the funniest person you can be when you're on stage. Like, that's number one goal. Come up with that great new bit, like come up with that new 5-minute set, like make this crowd laugh tonight, like do really well here. And like, that's the only thing that's like driven me. And everything else that's like been happening for me good lately, I know it's not because of like the hustle, or like I have a great like social media marketing, or like I know the right people. Like, some of that does like have its place, and it helps, and it can help you make connections. But I know like everything that I've been able to do in the past year, and this has by far been my best year doing stand-up ever. It's been the year I've enjoyed doing stand-up the most fulfilling. But I know that's come from me trying to be the best comic that I can be. Yeah. Not from any favors or any, clever business sense or being an entrepreneur. It's all come from just being like, I want to be funny on stage. I want to make these people laugh. And I think if more comics have that mindset, they'll get less frustrated with like where I'm being booked and like what I'm being given and all of that stuff. And it's I know people talk about this all the time, but the Bill Burr quote and line where he says, like, become undeniable. That was his whole thing of just like, and he says it talking about like women doing comedy, and like people shouldn't complain about like not getting opportunities, which, you can either take that or leave it. But what he says in that quote and in that interview is like, if you go up there and you crush night after night after night after night, no one is going to look at you and not want to book you. Everyone's going to want to book you. Everyone's going to want to put you on your show, right? Because they're seeing that you are doing it. They're seeing the fruits of your labor. They're seeing you be your best possible self. Like, that's what people want to see. Yeah. And I had someone come up to me after a mic one time, and they said to me, like, I've never seen you have a bad set here. And that was one of the best compliments I ever got, because that was what I thought of immediately. It was just like, yeah, because I work really hard to like put in the effort to like, I want to do well like every time that I'm here. I want to do well every time I get on stage. So yeah, that almost like, that kind of goes back to the football thing that we were talking about earlier. Like the whole thing of like, I'm going to work hard on it. I'm going to care about it, and not for the glory or the fame or
like the sport of it almost.
Yeah, exactly, but because it's like I want to do well on stage, like that's what I enjoy. Like that show last night, that was cool, that was awesome, being able to do that. The best part of that whole show though was the 15 minutes I was on stage. That's the funnest part.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing that you should be working for, is like not the name on the marquee, not the the lights in the dressing room. You should be doing it because the 15 minutes that you're on stage is the funnest 15 minutes that you're gonna have all week long. Yeah. Sorry, I just gave you a TED talk a little bit there. That's like my comedy sermon, man. I'm like so passionate about that. It's just like, hey, focus on being funny. Focus on like,
that's what you're here for.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's important. I was talking to a comic who was on the festival this past week, and her name's Mandy Kay. She's from Boulder, Colorado. She's awesome. And one of the things that she was talking about was just the fact that it's like, so many comics out there are trying to like be either political or edgy or alternative, or like they're trying to put themselves on this label in this box. And she said, I just want to go up there and be funny. And she said that, and I was like, like we are,
thank you.
You and I are, cut from the same cloth. Because I was like, that's how I feel too, man. It's like, I just care about making people laugh. I just care about being funny and give them like my best comic self every time that I get on stage. And it's like, I'll get you laughing however I can get you laughing, but I want to get you laughing,
Yeah. And Brody has a great bit. What's Brody's last name again?
Stanford.
He has a great bit about therapy.
Yeah.
His bit about therapy is like, which honestly, comedy is therapy. And he's like, this is therapy and fitness is therapy. But he's like, have you ever tried therapy? I was just like, oh my God. He's like, it's awesome.
Dude, I feel that way. I feel that way all the time too. Is
funny.
I won't name this next comic because it's not the most flattering story, but there was a moment that I had where I noticed I was going to this same mic for months, and I noticed the same person getting up time and time again. And every time they got on stage, all they did was try to do crowd work and try to do like really angry, like attacking the crowd, being mean to the crowd work.
Ooh, talking down.
It was going bad every time. And it would just kill the room. I mean, it would totally kill the room. And we had to follow this guy all the time, right? And he would just walk like half the room.
We got a few of those.
Yeah. And it happens. It's part of doing the thing, right?
It's an open mic.
But I could tell that after, like, I was seeing him do this for weeks, right? And I could tell it was starting to frustrate him that he was doing badly, right? It was starting to like get him.
It's a real blow.
Yeah, when it's just bomb after bomb after bomb after bomb. Yeah. And I've been there. I've had those streaks. I've had those months where it feels like I can't have a good set.
Like, why am I even doing?
Totally. Yeah. It's like, why am I doing this right now?
Yeah.
But he legitimately came up to me after a mic, after I was watching this for weeks, and he literally asked me like, hey man, like, I'm not doing great right now. Like, what are you seeing that I'm not seeing? And the thing I told him, I was like, hey man, have you ever thought of getting up there and just doing jokes and telling jokes and like not doing this thing where you feel like you have to like be antagonistic and go after the crowd or be mean to this person, but like
maybe that's not
you. Like, have you thought about like, and some people can do it. Some people are great at that,
crowd work,
like just great at it. I've seen awesome comics do that, but it's like, I figured out, because I tried
put crowd work at the next level. Like I'm just getting to the point where I do some crowd work, but
Yeah.
for the longest time it's just jokes. I was like, jokes.
Yeah,
jokes.
jokes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I tried being, when I first started out, I tried being the political guy and like doing, like, I wanted to be like, the Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert.
Yeah.
I love those guys. I wanted to be that.
Yeah.
Found out I wasn't that guy, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to do the shocking guy. I wanted to do the Louis C.K., Anthony Jeselnik. Figure out I'm not that guy, right?
Yeah.
And then I figured out my best self is when I get up there and it's like, I know what the jokes are. It's material. I've made it. And also the best things were the things that actually came from who I was and were honest and were like, I'm being myself. Okay. I figured that that's what works best for me. Things work differently for everyone. Some people do better with a persona. Some people do better trying to do the shocking. Some people do better doing the political, but I found out that wasn't me, right? And so what I told this guy, I was like, hey, maybe you should focus on, instead of trying to like put yourself in this box of like the kind of comic you should be and the kind of comedy you should do, maybe you should go back to the drawing board and actually figure it out. Like, where's the joke? Like, what's funny? One of the best pieces of advice I ever got doing comedy ever was I was hosting for this guy at Penguins one time. His name was Greg Hahn. Shout out to Greg. I'm sure you listen to Colin's podcast. But he was a headliner coming through Penguins back in the Penguins Comedy Club days in Cedar Rapids. This was a few years ago. And I was just hosting for the weekend. And Brent Terhune was there too, who's a great comic out of Indianapolis. He's blowing up on Twitter lately. And Greg Hahn, after the show, gave me like some really great advice.
I've heard that name.
Dude, yeah, he's like a big like Todd and Tyler radio guy, and he's like, and the club was packed for him. Like, people love this dude. They came out and saw him. He seems like one of those guys who would like come back to Cedar Rapids like every year or two, and like people just really loved him there. And so it was cool for me because I got to host for him Friday and Saturday, whole weekend, and I did like old stuff that I used to do. When I was like, it was basically the material that I had written like my first 2 years doing comedy in Nebraska, right? Which wasn't necessarily bad, but it was like my first 2 years of doing comedy type of material. And the best advice that he gave me is he said, hey man, you're funny, but you need to get to the joke. That's what he said. He said, you're taking too long. There's too much setup.
I've heard that before,
There's
too.
too much story. He goes, you're funny. He goes, you're making people laugh. He said, but you could be making them laugh a lot more if you just got to the joke. And that was the best advice that I could have gotten because
the fat.
yeah, exactly. Because that made me the comic that I am now. Not to say that I've like leveled up or anything like that, but what I have done is I've like had that thought in my head every time I'm writing a new bit or like have a new idea. The thing I have to tell myself is like, it doesn't have to be that long. You don't need that much setup. Cut that, like get to the joke. And once you get to the joke, it's like my best stuff that I've written this past year has like all been with that mindset, of just like, where the laugh is, get to the laugh, say as few words as possible to get to that point. And I know it probably sounds like I'm being like, an existential asshole about something that's literally like poop and dick jokes and stuff like that. But I do think, there's something to be said just about like, loving the like craft and loving the ability to just get there and just tell jokes that make people laugh, and don't overcomplicate it. Sometimes that's all it has to be, be yourself, get up there, tell the joke.
Yeah. And why do you think you want to do comedy so much?
Dude, honestly, I've been thinking about that a lot lately because I'm like, with my teaching career, I'm like kind of getting to this crossroads where I am either going to like have to like just keep doing what I'm doing and just be a classroom teacher forever, which I don't know if I want to do that, or
and I want to talk about the teaching stuff too.
Or move up in my career and
back to school.
Yeah, and I am going back to school. I'm going back to grad school in the fall to do a master's of education program with an endorsement in principalship. And so
Okay.
possibly become an assistant principal or principal at some point in my career. I don't know when or if that's going to happen. But
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this a lot lately, because the thing I've been thinking is like, okay, are you going to be able to do that and also still do comedy? You know what I mean? Is it going to be too much career? And is that something that's going to have to go away? And so it literally has had me thinking, like, why am I even still doing this? And there was a time too during the pandemic where, you know, because I had been, before the pandemic, I'd been doing comedy for like 4.5 years before that, right? And being like 6 months, there were 6 months there in 2020 where I did no stand-up, right? Because there was nothing happening. There's no mics happening, no shows happening. And I started doing it again in the fall of 2020. But when I first came back, it was so bad and it was so depressing because no one was there. There was no one at these mics. There was no one at these shows. People were barely outside their house, like in August, September of 2020, right? That was my first moment where I was like, I don't know if I wanted to keep doing this anymore. Now, I'm obviously really glad that I did, because all of this cool stuff has happened in the past couple of years that would have never happened if I quit, right? But I'm starting to get to that place again of like, what does the next like level and next phase of this look like for me? Like, why I'm actually doing it. And the thing I keep coming back to is I just love it. I just love being on stage. I just love performing. You know, it's something that like really gets me excited, that I'm really passionate about. And I just love like new places and new opportunities to just be able to perform. And so that being said, there's also a part of me that's always been like, what would it look like to do that full time? What would it look like to do that professionally? And I've had some friends who have gone down both of those paths, you know, who have said, I can't keep doing comedy forever. I'm going to have to give it up. I've had a lot of friends do that. And I've had a lot of friends who have also said, I'm going full tilt on this thing and I'm going to commit myself to it. I'm going to do it professionally, you know? And I'm kind of in between those things right now, where it's like, I don't know what that looks like, which is, you know, I don't mean to be a bummer. I do think that's just honest though, of just like, you know, I've been doing this thing for 7 years now.
And crossroads of like career and what you want to do with your life.
And
it affects so many people. Like,
because the other thing too,
whether it's comedy or whatever it is, like, you know,
comedy is my passion.
Yeah, because everybody has their own different passions.
Comedy is my passion, but the other thing that's my passion is helping kids. And the other thing that's my passion is like, you know, this year at my school, I started coaching the Quiz Bowl team at my school, which is just as nerdy as it sounds, by the way. It's great though. Nerdy. I love it. I've loved doing that so much. And I kind of started doing, it's the first time they've ever done a Quiz Bowl team.
So you're going to have to explain this to me because I have no idea.
Okay, so it's like academic bowl type of thing. Have you ever heard of like Scholar Bowl or like anything like that? Okay, cool. So what it is like, it's basically like a trivia competition with schools, where schools go to tournaments and you have teams of 4 kids on a team who compete in, it's a Jeopardy like trivia game where the kids have buzzers and they buzz in to answer questions to get points. And if you get a buzz-in question, you get bonus questions. And whoever has the most points at the end of the round wins.
And there's different topics.
Yes. And it covers everything from like, they'll do questions about, you know, your classic Trivial Pursuit categories of like history, literature, geography, science, sports, entertainment. Like they'll do all of that stuff, but they'll also throw in a lot of stuff for the kids that are about like video games and like YouTubers and like all of this stuff. And so it's really fun. And so it's like this fun mix of like academic knowledge, but also just like trivia knowledge. And so I started doing this year because I love trivia. I'm on a music trivia team with my friends that we do this competition in Quincy, Illinois every year. I love doing like bar trivia, pub trivia, all that stuff, always have. And I heard about Quiz Bowl because a friend of mine who's also on my trivia team, he coached a Quiz Bowl team in a high school that he teaches at in Macomb, Illinois. And he was talking to me about it and, you know, just his experience. And it sounded like something that was cool and fun. And also I was like kind of looking for a thing that I could do where I could do more just outside of my classroom at my school building, like a way that I could like start like trying to build a different kind of relationship with students, you know, do something that was teaching, but wasn't just me in my classroom teaching social studies. So I decided to do this thing. I found a few kids who were interested in it. And that experience this year has really helped me fall in love with teaching again. And it's like really helped me be passionate about my job again, because it turns out these kids were really good at Quiz Bowl, and they were awesome. And we went to our first tournament not knowing what we were doing at all. We'd never played in a tournament before, and they came in second place. They were runner-ups in the tournament, first tournament they ever played in. And then they won the second tournament they were ever in. And then just a few weeks ago, they won the Iowa State Championship for Quiz Bowl, which is so cool. And it just started because I basically said, I want to do this. I want to start this. You know what I mean? And because I said, I want to do this, I want to start this, all these kids now get to have this really cool experience and like get to enjoy this thing.
Are these kids like that aren't normally involved in much stuff, or they have other stuff they're involved in?
They're involved. It's kind of a mixed bag. Okay. Yeah. And so it's like, for some of them, this is like their first like team thing that they've ever done. For others of them, I have one girl on my team that's like the most involved kid ever. Like she's one of those kids who's like always, in club soccer, and does orchestra and band, and she runs track, and now she's on the Quiz Bowl team. But she was awesome. Like she was like the best. She was good for our team because she was competitive too, and we needed a little bit of that edge. But yeah, I mean, doing that though this year, that was the thing. It was like, oh, like I am still passionate about like helping kids and working with kids too. Yeah. And so it's, you know, I'm kind of at this place where I'm, you know, the two roads are diverging in the wood type of thing, and I have to choose which one I want to travel. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's also a sign that it's like there's probably some cool stuff happening in your life. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't have any roads to choose to go down.
I totally understand that, because I'm at a point with where I have a really good full-time job. I'm also doing comedy. I do the podcast. Somebody called me a Renaissance man the other day, and I was like, or a few months ago actually, and I was like, yeah, I just do a lot of different stuff. And I started a social media company where I'm managing social media for businesses. I've only had one client so far, but because I've always been like really intrigued by social media, because I went to school for marketing, and that's basically where all the marketing is now. Not all of it, but it's going there.
Right.
So I've gotten really into that. But, getting that crossroads, it's kind of a weird place to be in. But also you just kind of got to, like, take a step back and, like, focus on the moment. Like, what you're doing now, don't get too far ahead of yourself. Don't start looking
for
back.
real. Yeah, I struggle with that, too. Big time. Yeah. And it's just, like, you got to enjoy the moments that you get, because you also don't know, like, this thing that I'm doing right now, right? Whether it's stand up or coaching the kids in Quiz Bowl, or, you know, you doing your podcast or whatever it is, it's like, you also don't know like how long these things are going to last, you know, and just remind yourself, like, you know, me being able to do the English theater last night, right? It's just like, enjoy that. Get that. That's a cool thing you got to do, you know, enjoy being in that moment right there and like soak it all in, you know? And, I think we care too much sometimes about like what the next thing is, that we don't get to enjoy the things that we're doing right now.
Yeah, I've talked to so many people that struggle with that, because it's hard not to.
Yeah, because, you know, you don't want to fall behind, or you don't want it to. The other people, a lot of people feel that way just because of fear, you know, of just like they think they've found a cool thing, and they don't want the cool thing to be taken away from them. Mm-hmm. So they keep putting stuff in their book like, this week, because they don't want, you know, the thing to be taken away from them. And I have to keep telling myself all the time of like, you know, it's not going anywhere unless you want it to go somewhere. You know what I mean? You'll be able to keep, the thing I need to keep telling myself is like, if it's comedy, it's like, you'll be able to keep doing this as long as you want to do it.
Yeah.
You know, comedy's
not going anywhere.
No one's going to come in and snatch it away from you. You know what I mean? The dog's whining in here again.
Yeah.
He's trying to snatch me away from this podcast right now.
Right.
But I think a lot of people think that, that it's not going to work out or it's going to be taken away from them. And the truth of the matter is like, if you want to do it, you can do it. You're the only one who gets to decide whether you're going to do it or not do it, And if you have that mindset, I think, there comes a lot of freedom in that of just like, I'm going to get up and do the things that I want to do today. George Michael agrees.
All right, dude.
How much time are we at, by the way?
That's a good question. Right about just over an hour.
Oh, nice. Cool.
So I wanted to get into talking about, because we talked earlier, you teach 7th and 8th grade, which,
Yeah.
as we both recall, and you're well aware of, is with some weird times. A lot of changes going on.
Change.
Yeah, so many. And looking back to like when I was that age, it was just like it was just a very interesting time. But like right now, obviously, not to sound like old man, kids have different issues. They still have some of the same issues, like, obviously bullying's a problem. But now bullying's gotten even worse because it's online.
Oh, dude, yeah, that's the thing about the bullying now is like
it's nonstop.
it's all happening in the shadows too. That's the thing that we've found out in our school building.
Can't really.
The thing is too that I think frustrates me. We actually had an incident at our school just this past week where it was a cyberbullying incident where it was like, I don't even know a lot of the details about it, but we got an email about it, and kids posting like mean or hateful things online, and the school finds out about it and they have to do something about it. But the thing that does bother me a lot is I think a lot of that stuff is actually happening in subtle ways in plain sight, but people aren't wanting to deal with it or like address it. And so like I hear stuff all the time, you know what I mean, that I try to address and follow through with, but you realize that like it's happening everywhere. And the other thing too that you realize is like with the phones and with the devices, like there's just non-stop communication that's happening. Like all of these kids are on Snapchat, all of them are on Instagram. They're all messaging each other. The Snapchat thing is bananas, dude. It's crazy. They're all on Snapchat talking to each other all of the time, and there's really not a whole lot that you can do to curb it, but I do think that like there needs to be some sort of like culture shift, and I think how we parent around it and how we teach our kids about it, because I think a lot of parents assume like, oh yeah, my kid turned 13, I'm going to give them a phone because this is the time that they should have a phone. It's like, no, you should like really be teaching them like how you should and should not use that for like your own personal emotional and social well-being. I just think that there's not a lot of teaching that goes along with it. You know what I mean?
I think he wants the banana.
The banana's right there. See, you have your banana. You want me to throw the banana?
Yeah, he wants to throw the banana. For those that are just listening, there is a dog that wants attention.
Here's the problem. I can't throw the banana if he keeps picking up the banana. Okay, give me one moment. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, you're good. If you lock him out, will he just bark? Yeah, I figured.
He's fine. We're wrapping up in a minute anyway. He'll be okay.
Oh, there he is.
But yeah, the social media thing is crazy. And like I wrote like a bit about it, just about like how the kids are getting mean nowadays. But it really is true. But the other thing too that I will say is on the other side of that coin, there's also, I notice more kids now with like a much deeper empathy, and like there's also a lot of kids out there who are just like way more emotionally well adjusted than I was growing up, and also like in a healthier place. More
self-aware.
Yeah, more self-aware growing up. And so the thing that sucks about it is like I do think there's like two sides to that coin of just like, yes, the bullying thing is tough, and like the Snapchat, Instagram, like social media melting your kid's brain thing is obviously worrying, but it's like also like I do think like kids have a much better sense of the world now. They understand the world more because of the information that they get from the internet. And so it's difficult though to like balance those two things. The thing that I keep landing on is like, you got to teach your kids how to be on the internet, not just give them access to the internet. You have to teach them how to be on the internet. You have to teach them things like, hey, things that you say on here, they do come back for you.
Yeah.
Like they're not just like going out there into nothingness.
Permanent.
Yeah. And that's something that, I had good parents, and I understand that like, not every kid has parents who are present and who teach them stuff like that. But I remember being in AOL Instant Messenger chat rooms when I was, 12, 13 years old, and like saying something like really mean to a person or to a friend on there, my mom seeing it and being like, hey, you can't do that. Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean that you can say it. Like the things you say matter. You wouldn't say that to someone in person. You shouldn't say it in this chat room right now. Right. And I don't know if a lot of parents are even aware of what their kids are saying, because now it's like so much more difficult to monitor. Like Snapchat's a great example. The messages go away. Right. And so it's like much more difficult for them to monitor stuff like that. And the other part of that, though, that I think at the same time is there needs to be like some sort of like healthy awareness of like your child's brain and where they're at in their development. And like, that's why I've been like a huge proponent since becoming a middle school teacher of like, if I have kids someday, which we hope to have kids someday, but if I have kids someday, I don't think I'm going to give my kid their own phone until they're like 16 or 17 years old. Yeah. I mean, I'm talking late.
I didn't get mine until I was driving. That was why.
Yeah,
it was a safety thing.
And I think I was the same way. I think I got mine 15th or 16th birthday was when I got my first cell phone. And and I don't say that about just like, I don't mean to be that old guy that's like, oh, back in my day,
no, but you see it.
But you see it. And it's also just like, I just really think that we need to be cognizant of the fact of these things have a huge effect on your child's brain and emotional development. I'm a huge believer in the effects that social media have on your mental health. I'm a huge believer of the effects of how it can affect your self-efficacy and how you view yourself and your self-esteem and all of that stuff, especially in kids going through adolescence. I mean, that's already a really fragile time. It's already a really difficult time. And you are, in a lot of ways, I think we're like pouring gasoline on the fire when it comes to how we're like talking to our kids about this stuff, and I don't know. I don't know necessarily what the solution is, but I know as it says in scripture, me and my house, we will do what I say we're going to do. Yeah. It's like, I'm not,
as long as you're under this.
I do think there's I don't know.
To that.
I think that a lot of parents are just giving their kids phones because that's what everyone else is doing. Yeah. And in reality, it's like,
you don't have to.
That's a stupid way to parent. You know what I mean?
Following the trends.
If everyone was giving their kid a hand grenade, you wouldn't give them a hand grenade. No. I think the same thing about the cell phone thing is like, yeah, that's great.
Would you say that cell phones are like the biggest problem you have to deal with as a teacher, or like one of them?
I think they cause a lot of problems. I mean, I gotta say, when I have conflict with a student in my class, like a student gets like really just like defiant or just like disrespectful with me, 90% of the time it's about technology. It's about either
being able to use something.
Yeah, me asking them to put their phone away, or like saying like, "Hey, I got to take your phone." That starts about 90% of the conflicts in my class because they're addicted to them. It's literally like me,
it's dopamine.
Like
straight
in
dopamine.
a social studies classroom, asking a junkie if I can take the drugs off of them. It's like that, and it's like, how do you think it's going to go? It's not going to go well. No. You're taking something that they've developed
an attachment to,
some sort of like dependence on, that's poisoning their brain, that's poisoning their minds. And so like I've had to like think about that like in my classroom, like how do I teach that? And so I have this thing on my board that I call green light and red light. And I say, if the green light's on, that means it's okay to have your phone out right now. I said, but once I move it to a red light, that's when you put it away. And I started doing that just to try to teach them the skill of like there's sometimes where it's okay to have it out, and there's sometimes where it needs to be put away. Same thing if like I am an adult, right? But if I am, for example, performing comedy on stage in front of people, I shouldn't be scrolling through my Instagram, right? I shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
That would be a bad time to do that.
Or if you're at the front row at a comedy show. Like,
If I'm at a, exactly. If I'm at a job interview.
Yeah.
Or if I'm in a,
hold on, I just got this fire tweet. I got to.
or if I'm in a theater performance.
Yeah.
You know, like that's the other thing
Time
too.
and place. Yeah.
That's the other thing too that is, to me, was so elementary when I was growing up, of just like, I wouldn't sit in the middle of a crowd, right? And loudly talk to someone on my cell phone. I wouldn't do that, right? Obviously, technology's changed a lot. Like, you can be very quiet and subtle and be on your phone nowadays. But I think the skill of like, hey, this isn't something you need all the time.
Yeah.
And also, okay, here's another thing. Man, I'm going on a lot of soapboxes right now. But here's something I really believe strongly about. Okay, you can give your kid a cell phone, right? That doesn't mean that kid has to bring that cell phone to school with them. Why is that such a weird concept? I had a Game Boy growing up, right? I loved Nintendo.
Oh.
I loved my Game Boy, right?
Same.
I had a Game Boy.
Game Boy Color.
Game Boy Advance. I loved my Game Boy. Always. Pokemon, Metroid, Kirby, all the time on the Game Boy. Loved it. Okay.
Yeah.
I had to leave my Game Boy at home. It was a rule, right? Yeah. My parents told me, you can't play the Game Boy at school. Why can't I play my Game Boy at school? Because it's going to distract you. Because you're going to want to play it all the time. When you're in school, you should focus on being in school. Okay. Yeah. All right. Same concept with the cell phone. Okay. You can give your kid a phone, right? You don't have to give your kid a phone and have that kid take that phone to school with them, because guess what? It is going to be a distraction. Okay, here's another comparison that I give people all the time. Okay, there was a time where my social media was only on my computer, desktop computer in my house, right? We had a Dell computer with Windows 98 that was in the downstairs of my house. Okay.
Same.
So that was my social media. It was AOL, MySpace, Zanga. Dude. Okay. Do you remember these days? Okay. So
I can't find my Zanga and it frustrates me. I want to find it.
They've gone away. There is a way to recover them.
I want to roast myself.
And can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Okay. From me to you, who's had the same comedy thought.
Yeah.
I also tried to recover my old Zanga for comedy material, for bait that I could dig up. Yeah. Let me tell you, it's not worth it, dude. It's not. You don't want to see it. It's actually horrifying to see. It's painful. It's painful. It's so bad. You think, like, my 7th grade self thought I was so funny and so witty and so unique. No, you're just an absolute asshole. You're just an idiot, moron, drama. You would post things about, like, I had a quote from Bill Cosby on there, which is very problematic now.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff. But, okay, so this is the point that I was going to make earlier. Okay. Imagine if every kid in 2002 brought their Dell desktop computer to school and put it on their desk, right? Nothing would get done, right?
Yeah.
Because they would be, I know myself when I was 12 years old, right? What would I be doing?
Dude, I'd be sending AIM messages.
Yes, I would be doing AOL Instant Messenger. I would be playing Mech Warriors with my little joystick, right? Oh. That was a good PC game. I would be getting online on, like, either RuneScape, or I'd be playing 3D pinball, right?
3D pinball. Classic.
Yeah, all that stuff, right? Okay. So, obviously we know we wouldn't do that. The same thing is happening when you take your kid's smartphone to school with them. Same exact thing, except it is even more addictive, distracting.
There's more things to do.
There's more things to do. It's like the number of applications, games, social media, ways to chat, all of that stuff. Yeah, it's unlimited. Okay. So you're taking something that was distracting for me when I was 12 that is now 100 times more distracting and you're saying, yeah, take that to geometry class. It's stupid. It's ludicrous to think that that's not going to have some sort of adverse effect on your child.
Like there would be like a phone check at the door or something.
The best phone policy of any school that I worked at was the first school I worked at. This was by far the best phone policy. Is they said, you can bring your phone to school, but you have to leave it in your locker during class.
Yeah.
Everyone has a locker. You have to leave it in the locker during class.
I get having the phone at school for one reason only, maybe to call your parents like for a ride. Or
right. Communication, obviously. But now here's my other argument that I have too, is if that's your argument, you should give your kid some sort of smartwatch where they can call or text you from that. But it's on like your account. Okay.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, and have it limited to be like, it can call or it can text, and that's all it can do, right? That's smart. It's a smart watch. It is smart. Okay.
Yeah.
But leave it in your locker was the policy. And I loved that policy because if a kid pulled a phone out in class, the rule was very clear. It has to be in your locker.
Can't have that.
And so I'd say, hey, you can either put it in your locker, I'll write you a pass to go to your locker, put it away, or you can put it on my desk and I'll give it to you at the end of class. What's it going to be? And most of the time they'd say, I'm going to go put it in my locker. I'd say, okay.
Excuse to walk out.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
Great. Get it out of here. I don't care. And I didn't even care if they came back to class and I could see that it was still in their pocket and they didn't put it in your locker. That's fine. At least when I see it again, I can call the office immediately and be like, they're breaking the rules. They have their phone in class. It was a clear thing. Yeah. Now it's become too loosey-goosey. It's this whole thing of like, they can have it on them, but we have to tell them to put it away. But it can still be out, and they can, if they need to call their parents, they need to walk in. It's way too complicated. That's why I put the red light and green light thing in my classroom of just like, this is explicit. You can't have it out right now. But I had a day a couple weeks ago where it was like the phone revolt, where it was like they were like the revolutionaries in Cuba, like trying to overthrow everything. It was on a red light, and there was like 7 of them without. And I just started picking up phones, and it was like, they were getting so mad. They're like, you can't do this to us. And I've stopped feeling bad about it because I'm so convinced. Well, I'm so convinced that it's bad for them. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so convinced that it's bad for them that it's like, you know, someone getting like a parent getting mad at their kid because they pulled a cigarette out of their mouth and they throw it down the toilet. You know what I mean? It's like, it feels like that. It's like, I'm doing this because I know it's bad for you. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you know it's bad for you. Oh, yeah. And that's the other thing too, is the kids know that it's not good for them. Like they know what it does to their emotions and their, you know, their well-being. They know all of this stuff, but it's like, okay, here's another thing too that I love about the phone thing. You got me on a subject. You got me on a topic. Okay. Good. Okay. So they say
it's a huge thing.
They say that the act of getting notifications on your phone, the buzzing in your pocket, getting a notification on your phone, you would think it would release the same like receptors in your brain of like endorphins and serotonin of like when I eat a piece of chocolate or like when, you know, I'm, you know, get a friendly note from my friend. No. Yeah. Do you know what part of your brain it acts on? It's the same part of your brain that is triggered when you win a jackpot at a slot machine. It's the same part of your brain. It's the slot machine brain is what they call it. Okay, so when you see people in the casino who are just pouring $100 after $100 after $100 in a slot machine, right? That's the same thing that's happening in your child's brain.
When you're getting those likes, those notifications.
When they're getting likes on Instagram. Okay. So think about this. Okay. You wouldn't take your kid to a casino, give them $500 and just say, go have fun. Horribly irresponsible thing to do, right? It's an incredibly irresponsible thing to do. That's why we have age limits at casinos, right? You're doing that with your kid when you're giving them a phone and giving them a social media account. It's the same thing. It's the same addictive behavior. And, you know, I feel really strongly about this.
I can tell.
Yeah, I feel very strongly about this.
it's something I've thought about, but you're
you might
you're
have
on the front
listeners-
lines seeing
Dude,
this
I'm
shit.
telling you. Okay, and you're gonna have listeners to this podcast
We're like,
that are gonna call me angry man yells at clouds, right? They're
Yeah.
gonna say like, oh, this is just so outdated, even like boomer style talk. Okay, this is coming from a 31-year-old person that is in the school buildings. I've been in the school buildings for 9 years. Okay, I'm a millennial. I grew up with this stuff too. I wasn't a native to it, but I'm an immigrant to it. And I grew up with this stuff too. And I'm telling you, 16, 17 years old, that's when it's okay. When their brains are starting to be developed. For some of them, it should be a graduation present. Okay.
Yeah.
You should graduate high school first before you. And I feel that strongly about it. And I don't care. I don't care if all of the
hell you
incredible
dying.
fans and listeners of this podcast tell me to go to hell. Fine, tell me to go to hell. Have your kids' brains turned to scrambled egg and jello on your own time. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. So what's besides the phones? We'll wrap up with this. What is something that you noticed that, like on a personal level, with some of these kids? What do they struggle with, and what? Because I don't know if it. I mean.
Man, that's such a good question. I think the thing that I've seen change a lot because of the pandemic is just their social lives are just totally different now. It's crazy. It's like this whole thing where I've asked a lot of my kids.
Because some kids, I mean, obviously you have a counselor at your school, but some kids probably come to you for guidance because you're.
Yeah. And one thing that I see all the time is just like, and I talk to kids about this, is like, who are your friends? Like, who are your friends? And you need to think about who your friends are. And there's a difference between someone that you're around all the time and someone who's a friend to you.
Yes.
There's this whole thing in our school building. You've probably heard the phrase "snitches get stitches,"
Yeah,
right?
of
Okay.
course.
So,
I listen to a lot of rap music. So
yes, yeah, of course. And so here was the scenario I presented in my homeroom class, because I told her, I said, I'm kind of sick of this like snitches get stitches thing, because you started using that excuse for like a lot of like really bullshit reasons to like not tell the truth, or to not say something that they knew that they should have said. Okay.
Yeah.
They're using it as a crutch to basically like get out of things. Okay. And so I said, okay, here's the scenario that I'm going to give you guys. Okay. Say someone steals your friend's phone, kind of back on the phone thing, but I know the phone is the most valuable thing in their lives. Say someone steals your friend's phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Say who stole your friend's phone. Would you tell your friend who took their phone? Would you out that person that stole your friend's phone? And the entire class said, no, I wouldn't. Why? Because that's snitching. I said, no, it's not. It's being a good friend.
Yeah, there's a difference.
That's being a friend, right? Is
if you called the cops, no.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
If you get the
snitching.
fuzz involved, that's one thing. But it's like, but I had that conversation with him, and I was like, hey, you guys need to know something.
Yeah.
Friends stick up for each other.
Yeah.
Friends have each other's backs, and friends would not let someone steal from them and just let it go. You wouldn't do that, right? Because that's not being a good friend, right? And I see stuff like that all the time, where it's like, this person is my...
They want to stay out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's like they don't understand what a healthy friendship looks like.
Ooh.
Like stuff like they get in fights with the same person over and over and over and over again. Conflict all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And talking to these kids like, why are you still like hanging out with this person? Well, they're my best friend. It's like, no, they're not. That person is not your best friend. That person's mean to you. That person puts you down.
Uses
that
you.
person treats you bad. Yeah, exactly. It's like, that's codependency. That's an abusive relationship, right? And I think a lot of this comes from the online thing too, though. Is like, these are the way these kids talk to each other online, where they're nice to each other one day, and then they say something terrible to them on Instagram or Snapchat the next day. And they just go through these cycles of just like being built up, brought down, built up, brought down. And they like, it finds its way into their social lives. And so something I talk to my students about all the time is just the fact that it's like, hey, if you guys are friends, like, why don't you spend some time together in the real world, not online, in the real world, doing something that friends do together, do you guys go to the movies anymore? Do you guys go to the mall and like hang out anymore? Do you guys, like go to a park and like play like a pickup game of basketball, like stuff like that, right? And so many of them are like, no, we don't do any of that stuff. Where do we hang out? I play Call of Duty with my friend Chad, and then I get on Snapchat and we have a group chat going, and it's like that thing, you know what I mean? And I remember, here's the big thing that's changed since I was in middle school, and this is going to make me sound super old, but I don't care.
I'll probably
I grew up in an era where we didn't all have cell phones, right?
No.
If I went out and my parents didn't get in touch with me.
Middle school, I did not have a cell phone.
I did not either. And if I went out and my parents had to get in touch with me, I would borrow my mom's cell phone or my dad's cell phone just so I would have a phone on me. But it wasn't my phone. It was their phone.
I never even got that.
Yeah, a lot of kids did it. A lot of my friends didn't even have access to that.
No.
But and it was really just for the purpose of like
Security.
where are we dropping you off?
Safety.
Where are we picking you up?
Communication.
Yeah, totally. But okay. And I know not everyone has this experience because, again, I grew up good family. And also in junior high, I made like some really good friends. And I know not everyone has this experience, but I did. I found some like really good friends when I was junior high. And so I remember the biggest thing for me when I was in junior high that I think like really helped me out get through that experience is like I had these friends that I would sit and eat lunch with, and we would go over to each other's houses on the weekends, and we would go to the movies, and we would go to the pool in the summers, and we would, play ping pong at Lauren's house, and then we would go over to our friend Kara's house, and we would do like a bonfire and like make s'mores and stuff. It's like that's what we did. Like we spent time together, and it wasn't, and it was like not a cell phone in sight. Just people enjoying the moment. It was that type of thing, right? And I think that's like the one thing that's changed.
Even as adults, we struggle with that.
We do. Yeah, and that's a big thing too. And it's like I have to remind myself all the time, like, keep the phone in your pocket. Or here's the big thing I love doing nowadays is I love plugging my phone into the charger and then just leaving the house without it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I did that the other day.
Slightly naked at first.
I know.
You're like, oh, okay.
I did that the other day when I went and met a friend for dinner, and I just left my phone. It was nice. It was so nice.
Yeah.
You don't need it on you all the time.
No.
And the other thing is I think there's a lot of, going back to the comedy thing, I think there's a lot of people who think like I can't do stand up without like putting stuff on Instagram or like the Snapchat thing, which I love that people put clips up. That's fine. That's all that stuff. But I always need to remind myself like, no, the stand-up part is when you get up and you're on stage.
Yeah.
Like, that's the part that's fun. That's the part that's matters. I used to be really obsessive about making sure I record everything all the time.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore. I don't record stuff at mics. I don't record stuff at half the shows anymore because it's like I don't want things to like take me out of the moment of like being on stage and doing it. I'll tell you this. I did the Englert last night. I sure as hell recorded that set. I had the camera set up way before.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah, you had to.
But yeah, it's like you're so right. It's like we struggle with that even as adults. I'm really glad that I do have like friends in my life though who feel the same way as I do, and who will sometimes will look at me and be like, "Hey man, put the phone away. Let's talk." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, be in the moment." I have this buddy of mine, Andrew, who will literally like take it out of my hands sometimes and like set it over here, and I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. I
Marshall
appreciate
doesn't
that."
even have a phone.
I know, man. I'm actually super jealous of him with that too.
Yeah.
He was showing me shit on his iPad the other day. I was like, "Your iPad?"
Yeah, he just carries
okay,
around
Grandpa.
Yeah, he just has a book bag, his iPad. He's like, I don't have a phone. I'm like, what?
I know. By the way, my wife is gonna have a good time listening to this podcast if she does, because she gives me so much shit about being on my phone all the time.
Oh, really?
I'm not good at it either.
Yeah.
I'm not, and I think that's also why I realize, like, okay, if I'm a grown 30-year-old man, right, and I have a hard time with this, like,
Dude, TikTok.
Dude, it shouldn't be in the hands of a 12-year-old. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Recording for the clips. I've caught myself doing that recently.
But it's like when you get something good, that's like good tape.
It is,
it's like
but
stuff.
it's like
It doesn't have to be every set.
I tried to tell myself, "Oh, I'm recording it so I could watch it to see what I do." Some of it is, but some of it's like okay, we need to chill with the clips. But also the clips are nice too for another reason, and I forget about this reason, is for people who don't live around here that
Yes.
don't see me.
Yeah, totally. And I've had a lot of people,
Or I'll record a raw set because I am not a clean comic, so I can't put everything out there.
Yeah, totally.
So
because it takes a lot away from the bite of your material if you put
and
everything out
also
there.
I need my job.
Yeah.
So I don't post everything, but I'll have I have some unlisted YouTube videos that I'll send to some friends or like even a couple coworkers because they're cool and they're like,
Yeah, totally.
Like, yeah, you can blackmail me if you want, but whatever.
Yeah.
But they're cool and they want to see me, and they live in one of my friends lives in South Carolina. Like she's
totally. And I've had friends I've had friends who live in Colorado or Oklahoma or Nebraska or Texas who've texted me and they've said
they're like I want to see.
Or we're like, oh, I watched your video. That was really funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's nice to hear. Okay, can I tell?
Or after a set when you get those compliments.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's great. I love that. That's
reassuring. Like it makes you feel like you accomplished something. Like,
yeah, totally. That's a lot of times I think that's the buzz that we're chasing. Actually, is the affirmation more than
sometimes I even but if it's my friends, I don't believe them.
But here's the deal. I will say though, to me, I take the audience over the affirmation every time. It's like if I have a set where everyone laughs but no one talks to me afterwards, I don't give a shit. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's like because I know. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like the audience decides, the laughter decides. Yeah. I'll tell you something too on the topic of clips and social media that we were just talking about. I'm going to run this by you. You're the only person that I've talked to about this.
Okay.
But I think you will give me good feedback on this. And I want you to hear me out first and then give me some feedback.
All
okay?
Right.
Hear me out. I think I'm going to delete the TikTok. And I'm putting it out in the universe right now.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
I have a TikTok. I post clips on it. I post comedy on it.
Okay.
I think it's going away. And here's my reason for it.
Okay.
People only find out about my shows, things that I'm doing, actually keep up with what I'm doing through Instagram and Facebook. That's where I let people know what's going on.
Yeah.
Right. And the people who follow me on Instagram and the people I'm friends with on Facebook, those are the people who actually care whether or not I'm doing shows. Okay. The TikTok followers, I don't know 95% of those people.
Same.
Okay. I don't know them. Okay. I had like 3 videos that blew up and got like over 50,000 views, which is nice, which is great.
Yeah.
Has any of that ever contributed to a single person being at my show? No, never. Booking me, being on a show, ever. There are some people though, like Heather Land that I performed with last night. It's like her.
Is that where she blew up?
I think it was
Facebook.
I think it was Facebook and Instagram. Okay. She's got tons of followers on Facebook, but she's probably got a ton of followers on TikTok too.
Yeah, probably.
There's people like Heather Land where
she
it's
hasn't
like
used her Twitter since 2020 though,
which is great. She probably do you know why she does that? She probably figured like I am about TikTok. Twitter does nothing for me. Facebook does everything for me. Twitter does nothing for me. And so that's why I'm at the place with the TikTok. Is like I think
it's a waste of time.
I think I'm keeping it because everyone else is doing TikTok. I'm just trying to do what everyone else is doing, and it's actually not helping the comedy
stick with
at
what's
all.
Working.
Yes, totally. And so I think it goes away.
Like Schlichting, big on TikTok.
Yes, exactly. And he's really good at it.
Yeah.
And he's really good at it.
The algorithm is it's not always on his side. I talked to him the other day actually.
Yeah.
He had one blow up again, and it was the cat food.
Yes.
The cat litter one.
Yeah, this is great. Chris's TikToks are, and I'm not dissing TikTok altogether. I'm just talking about myself.
Yeah.
Chris does a great job. They're really funny. They're really good. But the thing with me that I've just learned is just like, I've had a lot of people.
We're almost done.
But I think a lot of people. Here, I'll throw his banana again, just so I can finish this.
Give us a little bit.
But I think for a lot of people, the TikTok thing is good because it's a way for them to show a creative side of them that works with what they're doing. But it's just like the fact that it's like, I've had a lot of people come up to me after a show and be like, yeah, I saw it on Instagram. That's why I'm here. I saw you post something, or I saw something on a Facebook event, or like you put out, like you boosted a Facebook ad, or you invited me to this event, something like that. That's why I'm here. I don't want to. I'm telling you, dude, I haven't posted a TikTok video.
Your audience
in
is
2
definitely
months.
more of a Facebook,
Instagram audience. That's the thing that I'm figuring out too. And the thing that I'm figuring out too is just
people like our
you
age.
don't have to be on every platform. You can choose one platform, and it's like that's the thing I want to do stuff on. Yeah, it's like And because I figured that out about my Twitter like a couple years ago or last year, where I was like, why am I posting shows on Twitter?
My Twitter doesn't.
No one is following me on Twitter for my Twitter. Now, people like Brody Stanford, Brody's got a great Twitter.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he does. He's gotten a lot of
check it out.
followers. He gets like, every tweet that he puts out there gets like 20 to 30 likes, which is a lot for Twitter, right? And
he gets those impressions.
yeah, exactly.
Hey, buddy, you want to say something?
Yeah. You just want attention.
It's okay.
Here, give him his banana, and he'll cuddle
banana?
up right next to you.
Okay, we're good.
There you go. Is that all you wanted this whole time? Is you just want to call and to cuddle with
That's
you?
all you needed to do, dude.
I'm sorry, you're just gonna hear my Shih Tzu on the podcast the whole time.
It'll
But
be a
no,
background.
I don't know. Okay, so having heard that,
That makes sense.
okay, thank you. Okay,
It makes sense.
I'm doing it right now.
Do it
I'm
right
gonna
now.
I'm doing it on the podcast.
You're gonna delete the.
I'm deleting the TikTok on the podcast.
You're not even gonna deactivate it. You're gonna delete it.
No, it's going away. I don't even know how to delete it. Actually, I might have to deactivate it
It's in the
first.
settings, I'm sure.
Okay.
I think I've seen the option. Actually, I haven't done it.
Oh, it must have heard me. It must have heard me talking, because
Did it give you a free boost?
right when I logged in, it was like, you got 8 new followers since the last time you logged into this. I'm like, oh gosh, no, I'm doing it. It's stupid. Settings
That's
account.
I noticed that with there's a comedian I follow that I can't say I opened for because it was like a guest spot, so I didn't open for her because I gotta watch how I say that. But her name's Jeannie Dugan. I don't know if you've heard that name before. She did a spot at the Comedy Bar,
Yeah.
and they needed a guest spot done for that night. And I was like, hell yeah. And I didn't know who she was. Are you still want to come over here? And I connected with her, and she posted something on Facebook the other day, and she was just like, you're going to see a lot. If you want to see my stuff, go to Instagram, because that's where everything seems to be right now. And she's just going straight.
That's
Instagram.
great. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Delete this account.
She's like, if you want to see stuff, want to see clips, go there. That's it.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Why does it need to be more complicated?
I've even gotten I haven't done a lot of them, but I've posted a few shorts on YouTube. Because I'm like, oh, shorts are popping off because they're trying to compete with TikTok and Instagram. And I've had a couple get a few thousand. I've never been able to get over on Instagram though. Instagram is definitely where it's at.
Yeah, man. Well,
I've had a few pop off, or the stupid ice bath video, which was hilarious because I flooded my bathroom. Did you see that video?
I haven't.
Oh, I'll show it to you. It's great.
Sounds like a great story.
It wasn't
though.
funny at the time, but I knew it would be funny later, so I posted it. And everybody laughed at me, which is great because I laughed at me too. All right, we could all laugh at me together, and that popped off on Instagram. Got not ridiculous. We got 15,000, which is great.
Yeah, but that is great.
Yeah, and I've had a few clips do the same thing.
Yeah.
TikTok, I have yet to have anything go over 2,000.
Well, but the other thing is too is
and the engagement is not there.
Yeah, and the other thing is too is I've noticed with the TikTok thing is when something does pop off, even in the best case scenario, when it goes viral, okay?
I would like to talk to Schlichting to see if he's had any
I'm sure Schlichting, he's got a big enough following and he
Yeah.
has enough things blow up where I'm sure he gets a lot of people at shows because they saw him on TikTok.
I really want to ask him though.
I have no doubts about that.
Yeah.
But for me personally, it's just it's either I'm not there
Did you
yet
actually delete it?
or it's gone. I
gone.
just deleted
Gone
it.
forever.
It's gone.
Good.
You've heard it here first
You're here first.
on this podcast. But I'm so glad I talked that through with you. You just inspired me, Colin.
Hey, it's something I've been trying to. I've thought about what do I need to focus on more? I don't, because I'm such a nerd when it comes to social media because I love the marketing aspect of it. And I'm like, you need to be on everything. But you're right. You don't.
You don't have
You
to
need
be on everything.
where the people are, where the
Yes.
people are going to pay attention. And
Yeah,
engage.
exactly. And I think the good thing
And also
that
for
I've
yourself,
found out and
overdoing.
Yeah,
it.
exactly. It's just like it's exhausting at a certain point. But it's like the one thing I'm good at on social media is I'm good at like posting that one thing about either a show that I'm doing or something down the road or something like posting that one thing and then like updating my story every once in a while to like show those things too.
Yeah,
it's like one of the only things I know how to do and like
stories
do well.
are really popping off.
Yeah, it's helpful. But everything else, it's kind of exhausting to me. Honestly, it feels like work. The Instagram thing feels easy to me. Yeah. And it's like, it feels like I can do this quickly. It gets people interested. It gets people engaged and also gets it off of my plate and out of my hair. Mm-hmm. You know, the TikTok thing, it's a little too much. And I don't see a lot of like return for what I put into it. So I just deleted it. It's gone.
It's gone. Forever.
Sorry about all of you followers out there. My middle school students are going to be very disappointed.
Because they rip on you?
Well, yeah, they watch. That's how they find my comedy is on TikTok. I don't care. You're not coming to the shows. You're 13.
You're not paying for tickets.
Yeah, you're not. It's not for.
You're not telling your parents.
This is not for you. Yeah. And this has been a fun podcast, by the way.
Yeah, dude, it's a good time. I love doing it in a different setting too, because I haven't got out of my podcast room in a while, and the reason I got the setup I did was so I could move around with it, and it's the first time I was able to do it, and we were pretty successful. We had a special guest,
George Michael
made
his voice.
George Michael, is that from
Arrested Development?
Okay.
Yeah, there's a little, but it's like a little bit of both because the George Michael and Arrested Development, like his name's George Michael because of George Michael. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, like that's the joke.
How old is he?
He's what? How old are you, bud? 2.5 years.
Oh, that explains. Okay.
He's a puppy. Yeah. He's born on the 4th of July too.
Nice.
Like Tom Cruise in that movie.
My nephew is actually due on the 6th.
Oh, nice.
First nephew.
That's great.
First time being an uncle.
Uncle? You'll love it, man. Being an uncle's the most fun.
Dude, it'll be great.
I got a 6-year-old niece and a 3-year-old nephew, and they're just awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
My niece is like my favorite person in the world. I can hang out with that kid all day.
These kids are comedy, man.
Dude, yeah, they're funny.
Because they're so raw. They just say whatever comes up.
Yeah, man.
No filter.
It's fun.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the good coffee, too.
Yeah.
That's always nice.
Make a French press for you.
Hell yeah. That's actually one of the few devices I don't have. I've been getting really into coffee. I have like the AeroPress.
Oh, have you done a Chemex pour over yet?
Not yet. My brother's big on that.
Next time you come to the house, I'll make you a pour over. You'll love it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite way of making coffee. I don't do it very often because it's the most time consuming.
Is it?
It just takes a while, because you have to slowly pour the water over and then you got to wait.
Oh, you got to wait for it to do its thing,
and then you got to do more water. Yeah, but it's fun.
Yeah,
it's a good time.
Well, yeah. Have you done the AeroPress yet?
I have done an AeroPress.
It's a similar concept.
It's really nice, actually.
Yeah.
It's a very smooth cup of coffee. I've never owned an AeroPress of my own though, so I'd love to check that out.
I got one as a gift. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah. Most of the time, we're very just like Mr. Coffee pot.
Oh yeah.
Person, but when someone's coming over and they want coffee, I'll make a French press.
Yeah, I use an espresso machine.
Espresso machine, nice.
Yeah, I have a cheaper one because
like a Nespresso.
No, a little bit more advanced than that. It was like $160. Like, it does the double shot pour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I use that. But yeah, now I've just been using the AeroPress though.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I actually I'm used to. I can drink any kind of coffee though, because when you're in recovery, you go to recovery meetings and they make.
Oh yeah, it's coffee.
They make just. It's just like mud.
It's horrible. It's church coffee.
Yeah, church coffee. It's the same difference.
Yeah, it's the
actually
big
that church right up the street.
Yeah,
I've been to a meeting there before.
Yeah,
yeah.
Big old percolator. Yeah,
yeah.
Those are hilarious.
The big.
It tastes just so burnt and bitter.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
But
and you drink it out of a styrofoam cup. And
yeah.
They have the powdered creamer, the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's part of me that loves that though.
Yeah.
I know the coffee's gonna be bad, but I'll do it anyway.
I love making coffee at meetings because I make it strong as shit.
Yeah, you have to. Always make your coffee strong. Always.
Yeah,
Nobody wants a weak ass cup of coffee.
No, you will hear about it.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate it. Did your wife go run errands or something? Or
I think she's been cleaning and doing chores upstairs and stuff.
okay,
Yeah.
I was like, didn't even hear anything.
We'll pop up and say hello before she leaves. She might be taking a nap right now, actually. She joined me for a lot of those shows the past few days, so she's tired too, I think.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It was a long week. All right. Well, guess you want to get on the camera? George. All
Hey,
right.
buddy.
I'm going to sign off.
You're signing off with us, George Michael.
Signing off with this. Until next time, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Modern Day Overthinker podcast. This is George Michael, my special guest host.
Good job, George Michael. You were a good guest host, buddy.